So, what is demand forecasting? So, for every firm or industry or any sales operations, we require to forecast our demand, because uh, without forecasting our demand for our commodity, we could not able to proceed the sales operation. We could not plan for production operations, production planning, then advertisement, marketing. Everything is required some strong evidences. So for that purpose, we required the forecasting of demand for our product. In this process, the demand forecasting is a combination of two elements. One is demand and another one is forecasting. So we have discussed about what is demand. Demand is nothing but it's a desire to buy the commodity with the potential. And for creating or requiring any kind of products or demanding some product, we required product and services. In general, forecasting means making an estimation or making an anticipation, then calculation of present and past. Based on the present and past, we need to have some figure for the future. So demand forecasting is nothing but we can calculate on two broad categories. One is on statistical basis and another one is survey basis. Statistical basis means we can have, for every firm or industry, an existing firm, they will have the data related to their sales figures. Last 1 year sales figure, if you want, we can generate from system. Last 5 years data, we can generate from system. Last 5 years average pricing, we can generate from system. These are all the statistical data or information a firm or industry or an enterprise or an organization will have. Based on that, we can project the future pricing, future demand for our commodity, for our product. And along with that, if you want to have real-time data from the people, from the consumers, we can go for survey method, so that we can collect data related to conducting survey, direct survey, so that we'll get some information. Based on that, we can have an appropriate planning for our commodities, like how many commodities we can produce for next 3 months. What are the people's current requirement for our product? Any updates is required for our commodity? These are all the things we can get information from this demand forecasting. So without demand forecasting, if we are producing a number of commodities without having any idea about the market, without any idea about whether our commodity is requirement, if we are producing, then it will be resulted in losses. So that better, before we are proceeding into any number of productions, distribution and sales, we have to analyze the present data, and we need to estimate the future requirement of the commodity. That is called as demand forecasting. In this demand forecasting, we have there is some processes which involved in demand forecasting. What are the need or what are the significance of demand forecasting? Yes, of course, the demand forecasting is an integral part of business or any kind of economic activity, especially for the sales. So the fulfilling objectives of the business. What are the objectives of business? The prime objective is the profit maximization. Second objective is output maximization. Then optimum utilization of resources. Am I right? These are all the objectives of a business. Am I right? Because I am not the business student. You may be more knowledgeable in this. Am I, students, you're following?
Yes.
Yeah. What are the importance of objectives of business? One is profit maximization. Second one is output maximization or production maximization. Then sales maximization. Then optimum utilization of the available resources. Am I right or wrong? Hello?
Yes, indeed, sir.
Yes. Anything else? Anything else? If you want to add the objectives of the firm?
Customer satisfaction is also plays an important role.
Okay. Providing better customer service is playing an important objective of the business. Yes. That's all. Okay, we'll keep these things are an important objectives of the business. We need to identify what is the relationship between these important objectives and demand forecasting. First, we'll take one point, profit maximization. For any firm, the profit maximization is an important objective. To increase the profitability, either we can go for high pricing or or we can go for minimization of pricing to expand the volume of business. And this pricing strategy, how we can use the demand forecasting. Suppose when we take up the last 5 years data, then we can understood that every year we required that we found there is a 10% of the increase in sales. From 2016, we have the data. So when we consider the 2016 data, we have sold 2000 units per year. We'll take example of motorbikes. So in 2016, we have sold from our brand 2000 units of bikes we have sold. In 2017, 18, 19, 20, and 21, we have reached every year 10% of 10 to 15% of consistent growth. 2000 to 2200, 2400, 600, 800. Now 2015 to 2022, we have reached 3000 units of commodity. So on an average, 10% of growth is there. So this year also we are expected to grow by 10 to 15%. So for that we need to plan for, otherwise we won't. If we are not achieving this target of 3000 plus, then we could not able to achieve the target of the firm, because every year sales is not only increasing, our cost of production is also consistently increasing. The production cost inflation is also moving upwards. And the cost of salaries is also consistently increasing. We are getting 10% of the business growth, and we are paying 15% of the increment to the employees. And apart from that, various costs, other costs are there. So that to match up this one, we need to aim for the profit maximization, so that if we are increasing our commodity price by another 10%, whether we'll get sales or not. For that, internal data, whatever we have, it is clearly emphasized that we will get the 10 to 15% of the sales, depends upon the trend line. But we need to check the what is the real-time scenario in the market. Maybe the peoples who may not get the increment for this year because of the pandemic situation, or maybe some economic shocks were there in the economy. Because of the global market scenario, the automobile industry may face difficulty. Even though my individual company is performing well for the past 5 years, and what is the market scenario and what is the people's mindset, whether any competitors are coming in with the same features with a lesser price, all these things we need to put it in mind, and we need to conduct a forecasting. Then only we can able to have a clear cut idea about how much we can fix the price, whether we can go for the same price as we compare with the last year, by minimizing our rate of profit to expand the scale of business or volume of business, or we need to go for little higher price. Everything we need to calculate on the basis of the demand forecasting. So the profit maximization can be possible with the appropriate demand forecasting in the market. And secondly, if we take production management, sir, last year we have sold 2,800 quantities. Now we are planned for 3,000. On what basis you are planning for 3,000? One, it's based on the available data. Second, data we have statistical data. Based on that, we are computing, we are estimating the system is generated for the year 2023. We require to produce 3,000 units of bikes. But we need to check the potential of the consumers. We need to check the requirement of the people, whether we are keep on producing the petrol vehicles, but the demand for electric vehicles has started increasing due to due to the shortage of petrols and diesel, and due to the government policy towards moving towards the use of electric scooters. So all these elements which is involved in determining of petrol vehicles, so that we have to check what kind of changes we can make in our production, how many quantities of commodities we can produce, whether we have to produce more than last year, or we have to produce last year quantity, or the expectations of the people, consumers, is more towards electric scooter, or else we have to plan the production instead of producing more of fossil fuel scooters, or we can move towards the electric scooters. That is all can be possible only through demand forecasting. So to fulfill the objectives of the firm, either it may be profit maximization, output maximization, product management, advertisement, planning, and then even the recruitment of the people, whether we require more people or less people. Suddenly, if you want to increase the output, it is not possible because the availability of the resources are scarce. Then immediately we will not get people. Immediately we cannot acquire capital. So that we need to prepare well in advance and execute the demand forecasting that will be useful for fulfilling the objectives of the business. I hope you understood the first point. If you have any question, you can ask me. My voice is audible to you, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the second need or importance of demand forecasting is preparing the budget. So for preparing the budget for the union government or state government, demand forecasting is useful for preparing the budget preparation for the union government or state government?
Both, sir.
Okay, how?
Sir, overall the union budget will be prepared, but then when the funds are being disbursed as per the state's requirement, the state has to use that fund as per the demand of the particular state in that way.
Okay. Good perception. But here in our subject, we are looking into micro level, right? first 3 units which talks about micro level only, right?
Yes.
Yes. So here what we are using is either individual firm or individual industry. So individual firm, they will execute demand forecasting for preparation of their own budget. How much, for example, they have the investment amount of some 10 crores. So with this 10 crores, where we can spend more, whether we'll spend more on capital, whether we'll spend more on salaries, or whether we have to spend more on purchase of raw materials, or else, sir, everything is there. Everything we have done very good. We have good production, but only we have the lacking in promotional activities. So we have to allocate budget more for promotional activities. Then only we can create more demand for our commodity. Then the allocation of the resources for various expenses within the firm, that we call for preparation. The demand forecasting is useful for budget, or else some established brands are there. This established brands, they don't want to go for more allocation of this advertisements, because they have already established in the market. But instead of spending money on budget, some 1 crore rupees they have to spend on advertisement and marketing activities. Instead of spending so much on marketing activities, already we have established out, already our brand is known for everyone. Then we use that 1 crore rupees for a production of the commodities. You got it? So the budget planning and budget preparation, demand forecasting is useful to prepare the budget of a company. Then third one is taking management decision. Every management is taking an appropriate decision for various things in the business. For example, how much of money we can invest for this current year, if how much quantity we can produce for this year, and we can estimate the how much of labor force we can recruit for our company, for industries, and how much of raw materials we can buy to produce certain commodities. These are all the important managerial decisions. So how we are going to take this decision on the basis of the demand forecasting? Suppose, sir, I am taking the management decision of taking some. Now we have 200 employees. We'll take another 200 employees, 400 employees. We'll take for taking this additional 200 employees, whether we'll get returns or not. How will measure the returns? I'm taking 200 employees more. 200 employees already there working in my company. 200 employees I'm again recruiting more for this year. How we can measure the returns of the additional 200 people?
Previous year budget.
Previous year budget, what will gives? Previous year we have spent for 200 labors. Now this year we have to spend for 400 labors. Returns of this 200 additional. 200 existing people, they already worked. This year we got some good revenue. And additional 200, how will measure the revenue? Based upon the current performance of this additional 200, right?
Sir. Yes, sir.
200 people, they have produced 200 units of output. Now 400 people, they have to produce 400 units of output. But after producing this 400 unit, if I am selling only 200 units, then what is the returns? You got the point?
No, sir. Can you tell again?
I am taking the management decision Last year we had 200 people and we have produced 200 units of output and sold 200 units. Used 200 people, 200 units produced, and all the commodities sold. Whatever we produced, it has been sold. And this year, I have taken the decision of expanding my labor force participation from 200 to 400. That means additional 200 labor force I have utilized for the production purpose. Obviously, my output also has increased by another 200 units, so that now my total output is 400 units. But sales has happened only as compared with the 200 units last year. Whether I got the returns of that additional investment I made on labor force?
No, sir.
No, sir.
That was my question. So obviously I'm not getting. Why?
Because we sold only 200. That's it.
Okay. Why only 200 sold?
Last year,
No, current year I'm talking about. Current year we have sold only 200 units. Why only 200 units sold? Why not 400?
due to competition or sir.
No, last year 200 I sold. Same units I have told. I have sold. No decrease in sales. There was no decline in the sales. Last year also I have sold 200. This year also I have sold 200. My question, why I could not able to sell 400 units? That was my question.
This year we produced 400 units, sir. That's
Yes, correct. We
Might be couldn't match up with customers' needs and the demand.
There was no demand.
Yes, there was no demand. Without knowing the current position of the market, I have simply produced additional 200 units by employing additional 200 laborers. You got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So to take any kind of management decision, whether you are spending on advertisement, whether you are spending on money on raw material, whether you are spending on expansion, whether you are spending to increase the production, first we need to execute the demand forecasting in the market, whether the market is required 400 or not. Since we have 200 units only market demand, how we can create more demand, that we have to focus, that we need to take a management decision like, so I am selling 200 units. My competitor is also selling 200 units. One more competitor C is also selling 200 units. One more D and E is also 200 units they're selling. What is the market potential? A, B, C, D and E. What is the market potential?
1,000.
5 competitors into 200. So market potential is 1,000 units per year. So how I am going to expand my market share? That is crucial. So to expand the market share, I have to expand my demand forecasting. I need to create my demand through, first I have done the survey on how much the requirement is. I found each competitors they're doing equally and total potential is 1,000. Now I have to navigate the competitors customers to my side. How I can navigate? Then I have to spend more money on advertisement. I have to build up the brand. I have to build up the customers base. Then only I can able to navigate the customers from competitors to my side. So after that, again, we need to execute the market demand for our commodity. Yes, sir. Because of we have done so many activities, promotional activities, advertisement, hoardings, everything we have done. Because of that, so many people are started moving from competitors to my side. So after making these kind of efforts, then only we have to go for the further survey how much whether the demand is created or not. If the demand is created, then we have to plan accordingly for the production. Then we have to acquire raw materials. Then we have to recruit peoples. Then immediately we should not take 400, 200 additional. Slowly we have to recruit and incorporate in our business. Then only whatever we produce, that will be sold into the market. For that purpose, demand forecasting is so essential. So all the economic activities like production, consumption, distribution, everything we require demand forecasting. We'll move to the next point.
Yes, sir.
The fourth point is about evaluating the performance. So for every performance evaluation has been done through demand forecasting. For example, how much the quantity of commodities we sold, and based on that, how much the next year we can plan for production. We have performed very well in sales operations and through advertisements, and the demand has been created due to the increase in the quality of our product, style of the product, design of the product, the color of packaging, everything is attracted. So all these elements of performance like production, product mix, everything we have to evaluate the performance of sales, production. How we can evaluate? We can evaluate on the basis of the demand forecasting. If the no demand, then there is no performance in the sales and production. Once if we execute only, we can able to enhance the production, enhance the sales, then we can evaluate the performance of the people, even the staff performance, labor performance, everything we can evaluate through demand forecasting. And determining the production target for next year, as I told in the taking management decision also, for this year we have produced 3,000. Next year, how much we are going to produce? There is not only a numbers. Determining the production target, it's not only a numbers. For that particular numbers, we require a lot of efforts. Backward is there. We need to acquire the raw materials, because the raw materials they are producing in a same way only. Last year also raw materials they will produce. One example I'll tell you. This was a case study I have conducted a few years ago. There was a textile manufacturing firm. That firm producing every year some meters of product. So every year standardized meters. This month, this year, 1,000. So every month they will have a different targets. Depends upon the nature of the month, because textile is not having the consistency in sales. There will be an increase and decrease will be there. Suppose if it is a school times, what will be the requirement for the textile? The demand for school uniforms will be more during May, June, when the schools are opening. The demand for school uniforms will be so great, and that will be one wave of sales. Then again, they have to plan for occasions like Diwali, then Christmas, then New Year, then next Pongal, that Dasera. So consecutively, they will have a peak period of October, November, December, and January, 4 months. So they have to plan. The biggest festival is Diwali, so that they have to plan for Diwali. So how they have to plan? So they didn't forecasted any kind of things before that. They have conducted they'll conduct some meeting. So this year Diwali is there. We have to effectively work, and we have to complete some target. So for example, if it is January, February, March, they will have some 1,000 meters of production, but Diwali we have to double it. So 2000 units we have to produce. Like that, they have decided and done the production, and they are so happy. And in that particular company, one new manager has joined, and he told, we need to go for demand forecasting in the market about our product, about our brand. Then he executed demand forecasting, and he came up with the result of, we produced last every year for the last 10 years 2000 units, but as per the data what we have in our hand and the market data, we require 40 to 50 thousands of meter for this year. Then the MD was he didn't he didn't take that point because he didn't trust that whether the data has been collected is right or wrong. Then he accepted for 10,000 units. We can go for 10,000 units. Suppose if only as per our internal target, if 2,000 to 3,000 units if they sold, means remaining 7,000 also no problem. We can try to distribute for other dealers, or else next year we'll reduce the output. But for your satisfaction, we decided to produce 10,000 units. So he decided to take the risk, but not 50,000, but only 10,000. And it was sold, all 10,000 units were sold. Then only they realized their potential, because they are in the market for more than some 40 to 50 years, but they didn't conducted any kind of this the demand forecasting. And because of this demand forecasting, they understood their own real strength, because otherwise they would not come to know their real strength. And the next year, they have, without any question, they have produced 50,000 units, and they can able to sell 30 to 35,000 units. So see the amount of percentage of growth, it has become tripled. So if you want to expand your strength in business, if you want to expand output and maximization of sales and output, and moreover, it has a lot of issues also. Suppose suddenly if you are planning and going for buying the raw materials for the production of this textile, it is difficult, because the raw materials, all the other competitors also, they will come and buy. If you are going, when you are going, then you won't be getting that raw materials also for production. So that we have to conduct the demand forecasting of a product, depends upon the present situation, and we have to plan accordingly for production, and we have to determine the target, and we have to schedule of production when we required more output and when we required lesser output. As I told, October, November, December, we are producing, we stated in that case study, 3,000 only 3,000 units required. As per the new demand forecasting, we got the opportunity to produce 30,000 units or 35,000 units. Is the same 35,000 units we can able to produce in February, but is it useful for producing in February and March? No use, because there is no festival, nobody will buy, and no school uniform is required in May, June only. By the time it's a dull season, so we need to planning and schedule of production. So the production has to be maximized when the requirement is more. When we need that, when the requirement will arises, it can be found from the demand forecasting. That is what the determining of production target and planning and scheduling of production can be possible by using the demand forecasting strategy. Then acquiring production input. Yes, of course, the raw materials, suddenly we won't get. We have to execute the investigation for demand forecasting, then ahead we need to procure the raw materials. Then pricing strategy, what price we can keep, whether we can keep a higher price or lower price, whether we can go for any discount. Last year there was a drop in sales. Then we have conducted a demand forecasting among them in the market. We found that with the equal quality of the commodity, one new competitor came and he has sold a very good number of sales. That is why our product sales was dropped. Then we have to formulate pricing strategy, whether we can go for reduction in price, or we have to go for any promotional activities, or we need to go for any free gifts along with the product, or any we can give any type of additional benefits for our existing commodity. All the things can be possible by demand forecasting. And even for advertisement, we need to expand the advertisement. Even if you see in cool drinks market, who was the main competitors?
Coca-Cola, Pepsi.
Coca-Cola, Pepsi is the prominent competitors. If Coca-Cola has put one advertisement by using one famous figure, immediately Pepsi also will do. Have you seen that? Even in the past history also, if Coca-Cola is using Hrithik Roshan, immediately Pepsi has used Shah Rukh Khan, right?
Yes, sir.
And if Coca-Cola is using Vijay, then Pepsi also use some actor. So both are having an equal market share. So the planning of advertisement is so crucial, because whenever the market is doing any actions, immediately we need to react. Otherwise, the share of our market share of our brand will be attracted by our direct competitors, so that we don't want to do it. So we need to consistently check the market. And one more also I can say, even if you see compare the Coca-Cola and Pepsi, if Coca-Cola is bringing in Fanta, they brought Fanta. Immediately what Pepsi has brought? No idea. Huh? Gautam?
Mirinda.
Mirinda, yes. Coca-Cola has brought Aquafina. Then Pepsi?
Tropicana.
Tropicana. I said Aquafina.
Pepsi, sir. PepsiCo.
Pepsi, Aquafina. Coca-Cola? Kinley, yes. Why Kinley has produced? Not because of they want to produce mineral water. Because of the competition, they produced Kinley. And again, Kinley, they brought, what is it? Pepsi has brought the 7-Up. 7-Up from Pepsi. Coca-Cola? Sprite from Coca-Cola, and immediately Pepsi has started. We don't know who has done first, but equivalent product, they always try for bringing in some kind of things. Only one almost all products equally, both of them have. So this is all will happen because of the market forecasting and surveying of the market, what the competitors are doing. If it is a 2 competitors, easily we can find. But if it is more than 2 competition, if the competition is so high, Then we need to plan for identification, market survey. Then we need to put an appropriate advertisement to build our brand image. Then only we can sustain the market. So these are all the needs of the demand forecasting. Then we'll move on to the next level. That is what are the steps which involved in forecasting? What are the steps in executing the forecasting demand? Suppose if you want to build a forecasting model, first we need to identify the problem. Then we need to collect relevant information. Then we have to perform a preliminary analysis. Then we have to choose the forecasting model, whether we have to go for qualitative forecasting model or quantitative forecasting model. Then we have to analyze the data. Then we have to go for verify the model performance and interpret whether what kind of decision we have to take. These are all the process. One process we'll just elaborate. First step in the particular process or steps in forecasting is identification of the problem. If you take any company, first they have to identify what is the problem, whether we have the problem of sales due to quality or quantity or style or design or pricing or because of huge competition level. First we need to identify the root cause for any kind of issues or to enhance the business. Suppose we can say, sir, one company is there. We are there in the market for last 100 years, very pioneer in business. So we don't have any issues. Everyone knows our brand. Everyone will buy. Yes, of course, everyone will buy because when the Horlicks came into the market in 80s, you know the evolution of Horlicks, no? In 80s, only people will buy Horlicks because they don't have any kind of substitutions. I mean, they don't have any competition. Only wherever, even if anybody is ill, first choice of buying is Horlicks. They will buy Horlicks. Nowadays, only they will carry one bouquet. Am I right? I think I'm right. Nowadays, whenever anybody is ill, hospitalized, we are bringing one bouquet to get well soon. So, in the olden days, people will, when they are visitors, they will used to bring, they will buy Horlicks bottle and some fruits so that they'll. So, still Horlicks is there in the market for the last 30-40 years in the Indian market. And what is the uniqueness? Because they are good in the brand value is good, but there is a equivalent and tough competition in the health drinks market. Boost, Bonvita, then there are like that. Many companies came up. So people are also wants to move from Horlicks because of they want to check the others. So the Horlicks, they executed identification of the problem. Who is the problem makers? And they found the Complan in that time, some 15 years back. Complan was the problem because Complan was the tight competition for Horlicks. By the time one advertisement came, I request all of you to enable your video. Kindly enable your video. So by the time Horlicks was conducted, they put one advertisement. One nutritionist will come there, a lady nutritionist, and she, two hidden bottles will be there. On the top, one bottle it is written as H, and another bottle it is written as C. both the drinks, the moderator will give the samples to the nutritionist. The nutritionist, she tried and she'll say that H is having all the 23 elements of the nutrition and that C is not having. Then when they open up that cap, H stands for Horlicks and they will not open that C. What is that C? But everyone knows. But how the Complan will react? They will take it easily?
No, sir, they filed a case against.
Yeah, they already filed the case against Horlicks. And because you should not use C and you should not make that our commodity as inferior than your commodity. And that is a wrong thing. Like that, they filed the case. And after that, they have stopped, the court has stopped that advertisement also. In case if it is available in YouTube, you can check it out. Since it is in the verdict came from the court of law, it may be also removed from the YouTube. But the problem is, first we need to identify the problem. So Horlicks has identified who is their first enemy. Then they identified what are the things we can add. That is why Horlicks mother came, Horlicks Junior came, then Horlicks for women, Horlicks women came for more than 30 years women. So in that Horlicks itself, then Horlicks chocolate came, Horlicks vanilla flavor came. You know, what is the requirement for this changes in the flavors, changes happened in the product advancement. This is all will happen due to the identification of the problem. Because of the competitors, they brought in the chocolate flavor, they also started producing. And no other competitors, they have produced the Horlicks women, Horlicks mother, Horlicks junior. Then we have to capture that particular segment of the people. Because health drinks means there is only for patients. Health drinks for only for children, that they have changed. Health drinks for all, and they have also specialized in the production of on the basis of the age group, because to capture the market. And this is what they have done on while they have done the identification of the problem. So after identification, they've executed the demand forecasting and they have produced and they have succeeded in the market. Then after that identification of the problem, we have to collect the information. So suppose if the demand is less, then we have to identify why there is a drop in demand. Then we have to collect the information. That can be possible in two ways. One is from the existing data, that is statistical method, and we can also collect that information from outside, that is survey method. After collection of the data, we need to perform a preliminary analysis. By using the various statistical tools, we can check what is the reason for this, what is the correlation between drop in sales and the market. Suppose the drop in the sales has happened due to the price of your commodity. Drop in sales may be happened due to non-availability of the discounts. Drop in sales was happened due to the discount is provided by the competitors. Drop in sales is happened due to the economic conditions of the market, people. Maybe there is a drop in their income. It may be any reasons that can be found from the analysis. And then we have to choose what kind of the research we can use for the analyzing or collection of the data. We have both qualitative analysis and quantitative analysis. Quantitative analysis is an application of the various numbers like income level, sales figures, then pricing figures. All this, if you're doing it is quantitative analysis. Whereas qualitative analysis, it may be like a taste, whether our brand is having comparative taste, yes or no. Then whether the consumers' preferences, the psychological behavior of the consumer has changed. These are all the qualitative analysis. And children's choice, when a new product is coming, when we compare with the Horlicks, when Complan came with one free of cricket bat and cricket ball, so that the children are more admired to buy the Horlicks than Complan. They will used to tell to their parents, no, don't buy this month Horlicks, buy Complan, so that we'll get one bat and ball and tennis ball and tennis. So like that, they have tried to attract the people, so that whether we can apply the qualitative model or quantitative model to forecast our demand. Then after the collection all the data, we need to analyze with the appropriate statistical tools like whether correlation or regression. We have to find out the reason for the drop in sales or whatever it may be. Not only decline in sales, for promotion of additional sales also, we can execute demand forecasting. Then we need to verify that the results are appropriate. If the results are appropriate, then we have to go for planning. So these are all the process which involved in the demand forecasting. Up to this, I'll stop here. We have another 4 minutes. If you have any question, doubts, clarification, you can ask me. If you want to discuss also anything, you can discuss.
Sir, I have a doubt regarding demand forecasting.
Yes, please.
Sir, demand, when we have a problem, that time we only do demand forecasting, or we can know the consumer wants or needs. That time we do what?
What we have quoted example is whenever we are having some kind of problem, we are used to do the demand forecasting. But for all the companies, not only problem, not only drop in sales, even for enhancement of the sales. This year we are doing 2000 units. If drop comes means that time only we don't do demand forecasting. Even if we want to expand to 3000 units, 5000 units also, we can do demand forecasting. As I told in the one example, 200 units will do by A, B, C, D, E. By the time, if you want to capture others' sales also, we can do demand forecasting to enhance our market share. That time also we can do. But regularly, even if it is an established brand also, they will do demand forecasting. Yes. Yes, any other question? Ishwari, Pavan, Mithun, Shruti, Mohammed, Mithun, no. Okay. So, if you have no question, we'll move on to the next topic. But next topic will start in the next class. Next topic will be on methods of forecasting. Methods of forecasting. As I told, we have two types of forecasting. One is statistical method, and another one is survey method. Under the statistical methods, we used to have what are the different statistical tools can be used for the projecting the demand forecasting. And with respect to the survey methods, we are going to have what are the different methods we have to conduct direct surveys. Directly, we can conduct surveys and get the information from the respondents. Respondents means normally in demand forecasting, we used to have various responses from consumer survey and the expert opinion. We'll also get opinions from experts. Then the simple survey method, directly we can conduct method, and even sample also we can give and get the information. Like that, there are different types of survey methods and statistical methods that will continue in the next class. Thank you so much. We'll continue in the next class. All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.